Hey there, welcome to the channel. So I really like queso, but lots of times at restaurants I can take it or leave it. I don't have to have it, except for this one place that I have been known to buy it by the quart. There's a place called Tijuana Flats. They have just under 100 restaurants, I think, in the South. We had one relatively close to us, and now the closest one's about an hour away. I finally found a copycat recipe, so today I'm gonna make it. We're gonna make Tijuana Flats queso recipe, and I'm gonna see if it tastes like the restaurant version. I'm Jamie with Savorysaver. I share gluten-free recipes, tips, tricks, and resources to make your gluten-free lifestyle easier. So please consider hitting subscribe, and let's get started. Okay, so this recipe uses this stuff. Processed cheese. It's gluten-free. We're gonna use it. That's what it calls for. I really hope this tastes like the restaurant queso because it's a whole lot cheaper to make and I love the stuff, so I will have this on a regular basis if it comes out like I'm hoping. Let's get started. It just takes a minute or two to make it. To make our queso dip, I've got a small saucepan here with 4 ounces of the processed cheese, Velveeta, whatever brand you're using. Evidently, there's something on the burner. So I've got it over medium heat. To that, I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of salsa. The recipe says mild, but I only have medium, so that's what I'm using. You also wanna add a 4-ounce can of diced chilies. The recipe actually called for a 1/4 cup of that too, so that's a little heavy, but I'm okay with that. We're also gonna add a 1/4 cup of hot water to help thin it out. Now you just wanna stir it until everything is melted together. And I've got a spoon here, but I also have a whisk nearby. I'm not sure which is gonna be easier. So let's just keep stirring it on occasion and melt everything down until smooth. Okay, I've already forgotten one ingredient. You also wanna add 2 tablespoons of minced onion. Now mix it until everything's melted. All right, so everything is melted and smooth and it's bubbling pretty good. So I've bumped it down to low. Now I'm gonna add my seasonings. I'm gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. That is a lot, but that is what the recipe calls for, so we'll see if this is too salty or not. Also gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Let's give it another stir. I am gonna turn off the heat. Once everything is blended, we can give it a taste. So let's get it off the heat and grab some chips and we'll give it a try. Okay, y'all, here's our queso, our chips, and to prevent myself from making a bigger mess, potentially, I'm gonna grab a little bowl. So here's a smaller bowl of queso. I have tried it, I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't wait. But first thing I noticed is that it's not as bright as the bright orange queso at Tijuana Flats. That could be because they make it on a bigger scale, so there's more Velveeta. It may be brighter orange because of that. It could be because I added extra green chilies because I didn't want to use 1/2 can and not the rest or whatever the measurement was. And the extra juice could have dulled it down a little bit. And in any case, I'm not worried about the color. I have tried it. Let's try it again though. Okay, in regards to taste, the first thing I noticed was there was too much salt. I used 1.5 teaspoons per the recipe. It's way too much, in my opinion. I don't know why anyone would put that much salt in it. So it is too salty. I would dial that back to 1/2 teaspoon to 1 teaspoon because remember, your chips have salt, the green chilies have salt, the salsa has salt unless you're making homemade with non-salted tomatoes. So I would definitely cut the salt back. The consistency is great. And that big reasoning is because, of course, the Velveeta is melty cheese. The Velveeta has sodium phosphate in it, which is gonna keep it melty. So once you put the leftovers in the fridge and heat it back up, it's gonna get smooth again, which I like. I don't have to worry about lumpy queso or queso that just doesn't wanna melt back down for me. In regards to the overall taste, it's very similar. I will be making this again. I will not be adding as much salt. And I'm very grateful that I have this recipe since Tijuana Flats isn't so close anymore. With them not being so close, we are going to be over there in the next couple days. And I did tell Tara I may go by and get a bag of their chips because I really like their chips as well. And there's no way I'm going to be able to make those at home from what I can tell. So, Tijuana Flats queso. Good recipe. Salt is my only issue. If you don't like a black pepper, I can definitely taste that in the background, so dial that back a little bit as well. I would leave garlic and onion powder like it is. Guys, we're just before Cinco de Mayo, which of course is a big made-up holiday for all of us Americans to go have margaritas and Mexican food. I will probably be enjoying this on Cinco de Mayo, and probably any chance I get to make it after that. Guys, what do you think of the queso? Do you know about Tijuana Flats? Are they in your area? I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today and watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.